iSARMs.com, the #1 place to learn about SARMs online.
Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you, and in today's video I want to discuss the topic of DBol, aka Dianabol. I'm going to go over the facts, how to use it, kind of what to expect, and then kind of give you my opinion about it and tell you what I think about it, and so we'll just kind of go from there. It's one of the oldest and most tried and true steroids since the beginning of steroid use ever was. DBol is probably one of the most commonly used even today. It's one that most people tend to, go directly to or think about first when they think about steroid use. It's right there at the top of the list. So I'm sure that many of you have heard of it, know about it, know certain things about it, but maybe don't know a lot of other things about it that they're missing out on. So I just want to discuss that and cover all the ground. Now, it's basically a variation of testosterone with some minor chemical modifications. And as you know, anytime you're taking an oral steroid, it's been modified to help survive the first liver pass with the 17 alpha alkylation, okay? It's supposed to aromatize less because an additional carbon, bond is there and present to make it less estrogenic. But even though that it was, attempted to reduce all of this aromatization, it actually turned out to be even more estrogenic and turned out to be like the highest ratio of estrogen conversion amongst any steroid there is. Now, basically what you're going to expect with that is bloating, possible gynecomastia, a lot of negative estrogen effects. There's going to be a rapid increase in estrogen, and it's going to be drastic and it's going to be fast. That means that it is a must to use an aromatase inhibitor with DBol. When I hear so many people telling me, I'm running DBol 5-6 weeks at 50-60 milligrams with no AI, and I'm thinking to myself, you're going to be coming to me in about 3 to 4 weeks crying and complaining that you have gynecomastia issues, you have big estrogen, you have all this water, etc. But there are people that have to learn the hard way. Do not, and I repeat, do not use this steroid without having an aromatase inhibitor. Now, your choices, Aromacin and Arimidex are going to be your top two choices. Some people that are severely gyno-prone might even go the route of Letro, although I don't recommend that. It's too strong and too harsh and not necessary until completely necessary. That's the last resort. You want to really stick with Aromacin on this, being that it's the strongest AI and the best for controlling estrogen. Arimidex is a myrsuppressor, and Aromacin is a suicide inhibitor, which will protect you far more, especially with DBol. So, how exactly does DBol work? Well, it's really highly anabolic and moderately androgenic. So it really gives any user some pretty outstanding results to a point, depending on what your definition is about standing. There's really two major mechanisms involved in the anabolic activity. It increases protein synthesis, and that helps keep your muscles' integrity and have a long-lasting mass, gain quality. It considerably improves performance and endurance by, boosting glycogenolysis. So that's another thing to take into mind and consideration. You're going to get very strong with DBol, and you're going to add a lot of size. But when I say you're going to add a lot of size, what exactly is the quality of size you're adding? And that's what you have to ask yourself. Is this quality size, or is this size that's living in the moment but prolonging the inevitable? So what does that mean? Living in the now, where, this is awesome, this is great, these 4 weeks of use have been nothing but great, look at all, I gained 20 pounds, but really you're delaying the inevitable. What's the inevitable? The inevitable is that a lot of that is water weight, a lot of that's going to dissipate and fall off. You're going to go through a lot of side effects, and you're going to lose probably a quarter to a half of the gains made, and it's going to be kind of sloppy-ish. It's going to be a wetter gain. You're not going to be real defined on it or any of the sort. It's not for everybody, let's put it that way. Some people are fascinated by gaining a bunch of size really fast. They don't care so much about their definition, nor do they care about like a super exquisite physique. Some people are very after, and like myself, are more after aesthetics. We want some size for sure, but the more important thing is the definition being defined, having a more aesthetically pleasing physique. And if that's the case and that's what you're after, then this is like the complete opposite spectrum of what you want. You're not going to want this if you're after any kind of like exquisite defined physique, just so that you're aware of that. When people do that and they say, well, I want to cut and I want to do this, so should I run DBol? And I'm thinking, what? Like, where are you getting that? That is the complete opposite. I mean, you can't get any more opposite than that. That makes absolutely zero sense. Zero. Don't come to me and ask me that, please, because I want to pull my hair out. It's just, I hate to say it's idiotic, but it is idiotic. It is, flat out. That's the only way to put it. So let's talk about the side effects. Side effects. Well, like I said, estrogen is going to be the number one side effect of DBol that it's most commonly known for and probably could be destructive at. It's definitely going to add a ton of estrogen conversion. There's going to be problems in terms of developing gynecomastia, a lot of water retention, etc. It's very hepatotoxic. Long cycles of DBol can be very, very harmful. You should not exceed 4 weeks of use on DBol. I'm sorry, you don't push it past 4 weeks. There's too many issues that can arise, especially when it comes to estrogen. And you do not, and I repeat, do not use this at the end of a cycle. You don't end a cycle with DBol. You don't go into your post-cycle therapy elevating your estrogen as high as you possibly can. That is literally one of the worst things you can do. You do not use DBol as a finisher. It is a kickstart. That is it. 4 weeks. Some people are going to run 50 milligrams per day of DBol. I'm sorry once again, and you can say whatever you want. You can be one of those jerks that wants to run it too high and whatever. 30 milligrams a day is more than enough. You don't need to exceed that. You want to be a jerk, you want to learn the hard way, you want to, do all that crap about more is better, go for it. Now, I will say this. Some guys that are maybe a lot bigger in size, you can get away with running 40 and 50 milligrams. If say you're 6'5", 250, or, whatever. But even then, it's like, why? You really don't need it. You don't. 30 milligrams a day is more than enough to make good gains, and you probably won't have half the water retention, and you're going to have a lot more sustainable gains. If you think for 1 minute that it's so great to gain 30 pounds and then lose 15 or whatever of it and look like shit, holding water and everything else, then by all means, go for it. But you really don't know anything about bodybuilding or anything. You just want to think that you're great for a few weeks and then just lose it all and feel like crap and everything else. If that's, what you want to do, go for it. I mean, by all means, go for it. But don't be shocked when you're unhappy with the results. And don't run it by itself. Don't run it without testosterone. Do not run a DBol only cycle. Please. Don't ask me about running a DBol only cycle either, because it's so bad. It's one of the worst things you could do. I mean, it literally is horrible. Absolutely horrible. You can just plan on losing probably all of what you gain and going through nothing but problems. That is the worst cycle proposal known to man. DBol only and Anavar only. I don't even want to hear about those. They're terrible. Flat out terrible. Do yourself a major favor. If that's in your head, erase it. Erase it quickly. Just trust me. Trust me. I'm saving you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of issues. Trust me. Don't do it. That's really DBol for you. I broke it down. It's not one of my favorites, obviously, because it's not conducive to my goals, but it can be good if you do it right, just like anything else. There's a lot of things that people do so wrong, so constantly, and they just pass the information along. But if you do it right, it can be decent. It's not something for me, but that doesn't mean it's not for you. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.
iSARMs.com, the #1 place to learn about SARMs online.